let's talk about the meta-study module. We'll go over the capabilities of the module and then jump right into a demonstration. The meta-study module lets you synthesize and reference data across studies. You can co-locate and aggregate data from other studies for additional analysis, and then reference findings in publications. There are a couple of capabilities of the meta-study module, which include managing meta-studies, uploading and storing meta-study artifacts and documentation, defining and managing meta-study information, viewing meta-studies, and creating a meta-study. I'm going to go ahead and go to the portal site. I'm going to click on the meta-study icon, but you could also click in the top navigation here. And when you get here, you'll see a list of all the meta-studies in the system. You can click to open one that you may have access to. You can view details about that. What I'm going to do is go ahead and create a test meta-study by clicking on the menu icon here and then clicking Create Meta-Study. You want to fill out all required fields. Each meta-study is required to have a primary principal investigator. You'll want to add them to the table. And then on study information, you'll also need to select a primary funding source. You could also add a clinical trial ID to a table here and a grant ID to a table here. I'm going to click the Next button, and what that'll do is navigate me through documentation, data artifacts, keywords and labels, and a preview. Documentation, you could select to upload a URL or a file. This could be anything that might be useful when it comes to looking at the meta-study. Data artifact, this is where you would want to add data. So you could add a saved query that you had from the query tool, or you could upload a file. And you would just want to choose the file and select if it's results or software or some other type of file. Provide a description and a source for what that is. Next, you can associate any keywords and labels with your meta-study. You can do a preview. And this will just show you these accordions for each section with what information you filled out. I'm going to click Create and Finish. And my meta-study is now a draft. You'll notice that there's a sidebar here that says Publish. And because I'm an admin, I can publish the study. If I was not an admin, this would say Request to Publish, and an admin would need to come in and publish the study. I could also edit permissions if I wanted to. If I wanted to make sure that any other people in the system had access, I could click on them and click Grant Permission. There are a couple of statuses here. There's Read, Write, Admin, and Owner. And what these mean is that Read is the user can view the meta-study. Write is the user can view the meta-study, edit meta-study details, manage documentation and data, and specify keywords and labels. And then an admin and owner can do all of that, plus grant permissions. But only one owner is allowed. I'm going to give this user read access and click Save. I'm going to go ahead and publish the meta-study. Once you publish, further changes would not be allowed unless you then unpublished the meta-study. Now, once a meta-study is published, there's the option to assign a DOI. You can click that link here, and you'll get this pop-up asking you if you want to continue. You would click Assign DOI, and then a DOI would be assigned to the meta-study. That's it for the meta-study module. If you want to try and create one on your own, please go ahead and do so.